recording. Okay, let's get started. Appreciate everyone being here. My name's Tom Stewart. We've been developing a software package for, honestly, over the last 20 years, and we call it Maid Central, and we're going to share with you a little bit about it today. Joining us today is Matt Ricketts. Matt Ricketts, is a friend, done business with Matt for a long time. He's been using our software here. He's an early adopter and been on the platform for almost a year, I guess. And he's going to be showing us a little bit about how he uses the software. Have Melissa Reed with us as well. And Melissa is new to our staff, but Melissa is going to be taking over the sales and customer support aspects of our software as we go on this journey where we're going to start licensing it to other companies. We're going to be talking about some of the basic functionality of the software. We're going to give you kind of a high-level overview. We're going to share with you our pricing and just some general Q&A and talk about next steps if you want to know more about it. I guess let me give you just a little bit of history before we jump into the deck. We've been in the cleaning business for over 20 years, and we started in this. There really wasn't a whole lot out there in the way of software design for house cleaning companies. So we started developing our own software, and it began with just a access database. And we had some reports, had some simple scheduling, had the ability to calculate and do payroll based upon commissions, which was really, really useful, saved us a bunch of time. And we started evolving it and building upon it. We moved out of Access into Microsoft SQL, built a Visual Basic front end, did several iterations of that. But about probably 6 years ago now, we decided that we felt that the technology had evolved to the point with mobile devices, GPS, cloud-based services, and all the controls and things that went with that allowed you to do some pretty slick controls and scheduling, that we wanted to build a cloud-based solution. So we started working on that, using all the database structures and all the stuff that we had evolved over the years leading up to that point as our starting point. And we built a piece of software that would allow us to run multiple branches. Where I was going with that is the technology got to the point where we thought that we could leverage it in a way to run multiple branches from one physical location. And we went live with that several years ago, actually, and we've been running it here in Castle Keepers, and we currently are running 5 branches with it. I guess we started licensing it to just a handful of friends and family, if you will, a little over a year ago, Matt being one of those. And, here we are. And I guess we're kind of at the point where there's a lot more that we want to do with the software, a lot more functionality. And the reality is we need to have more people participating in this project with us to help us design, develop, and finance this project. It's there's a strong business case, and it's allowed us to do some things from a business standpoint that we wouldn't have been able to do otherwise. But it's been an expensive hobby for us as well. So we're looking to get some more people on the project so we can take it to another level. Hence, here we are today. So with that being said, there's a gentleman by the name of Jim Lampe. He talks about barriers to growth. We did like a 4-part series back in Cleaning Business Today about him several years ago. He's written several books on it. And he points out that, they're one of the primary areas that companies hit a wall and can't grow anymore is because of the technology they use and the systems they have in place. And typically when you start a business from scratch, you start using what he calls functional software, where you've got Microsoft Office with Word and Excel and stuff like that, and that'll get you so far. But then you migrate to specific pieces of software designed to do specific things, such as QuickBooks or a CRM package. Or if you look at the graphic here, each one of these graphics on this slide represent pieces of functional software that you can use in a small business and a cleaning business to help run your business, such as field management software. That's all your typical suspects that you're using to do your scheduling and dispatching, and there's a number of them out there. Time management software, products like T-Sheets, I guess. Online booking tools. There are several people that sell software that do nothing but quotes and online booking. Software to do text and email, to do payroll, payment processing, CRM packages. You guys are familiar with the various CRM packages, quality management software. And the way that we typically run that is we're in the middle, kind of keeping all of those things synchronized and talking to each other. In some cases, there's some degree of integration, but there's typically a fair to a lot amount of work that you as the end user have to do to make sure all those different systems are talking together and getting the information out of one and getting it to another. Our vision with the software that we were building, and when we started doing again about 6 years ago to make it a cloud-based solution, was to take all those products, all those various pieces of software and functionality and integrate it into one solution designed specifically for house cleaning services. And that's what we've done. So instead of you as the individual being in the middle, keeping all of those various functions talking with each other, Maid Central will do that for you. And there's a lot of benefit to be realized in that. And we want to be talking about that as we get into this discussion a little bit deeper. At a high level, the functionality could be broken down, I guess, into 4 basic sections. You've got an employee portal where your cleaning technicians are able to log into the software and do a lot of things for themselves and participate in the process. All your time tracking, both for how much time they're working for the day, as well as punching in and out of individual jobs, is done through Maid Central. All the work measurement that goes along with that. You're able to measure team efficiency, how much of their day is being spent cleaning homes versus driving from home to home or being in meetings or whatever. They have detailed work instructions, and our quoting tool has a fairly quick way that you can drill down and actually capture all the homes in a house, and you have the ability to create work instructions that have all the rooms in the house. You can create multiple what we call service sets that will allow you to do different scopes of work for different visits for recurring clients and different levels of work, such as general cleaning and deep cleaning and rotational deep cleans. All of that's supported here within that functionality. Your employees are able to log in and manage their time off requests and vacation requests, and if they're out, if they have an excused absence, they have the ability to upload their excuse, so you're not like tracking down pieces of paper and trying to figure out who's going to be at work what day. If they have to be off, they wake up in the morning, their kid's sick, they can't come to work. They log into Maid Central and tell us that they're not going to be able to make it to work today. So when we come in the office, we bring up a screen and we automatically see, who's not going to be here, so we can adjust our schedule without checking text or listening to a bunch of voice messages. They can manage their schedule. They can access their pay history and details. A lot of things that your cleaning technicians can do through the software. On the customer side, customers can log in and they can set all kinds of communication preferences and things that they want and don't want with their cleaning. There's online booking component to that. They can update all their payment information, their contact information. There's a quality score component of it that after every job, there's an email that goes out that the customer is asked to rate the cleaning, and that feedback, because it's an integrated system, is captured at the employee level, it's captured at the team level, it's captured at the company level, it's captured at the customer level. So you can parse it and dice it a lot of different ways, and it's all there, so there's no redundant data entry or anything like that. Company level, there's a lot going on there. The whole sales process is managed through Maid Central. You can capture leads off your website in one of a couple of different ways. Puts them into a CRM funnel where you can manage those leads in a lot of different ways. convert them into a customer. And once you do that, it flows right through, and you basically, the customer setup is essentially done through the process, through the sales cycle. It integrates with QuickBooks, so with a click of a button, it sets them up as a customer in QuickBooks. Scheduling, dispatching, the integrated quality measurement and reporting, billing, credit card processing, payroll, all of that's done through one activity because, again, it's an integrated system. It can save you a bunch of time. Do payroll several different ways: hourly, commission, split hourly. There's a lot of functionality to help us track what we need to be doing. You can do office notes, contact tickets, reminders, things that you can associate those with your employees. You can associate them with customer-specific jobs, sales leads. So a lot of things are being driven by Maid Central. So there's dashboards that everybody who's using the software are getting these reminders and tasks that are popping up, telling them to, make sure Miss Jones knows something, or team number 7 does something, or to follow up, or to replace that broken item, or whatever the case might be. A lot of that is driven through these tasks that are being generated by the software. There's a whole suite of reports and dashboards and maps and other management tools to help in the decision process of running your business, related to customers and scheduling and dispatching, quality, employees, work measurement, revenue and costing. You've got a lot of detailed data at the customer level, home level, job level. You can kind of parse out and figure out where you're making money and how much gross profit you're making off of each job, or however you want to parse it. And, makes it really easy to do rate increases and to make adjustments to scope of work to make sure that you're maximizing the benefit out of all the work that you're doing. Again, the sales process is all encompassed within the platform. And the payroll is integrated with all of that. The payroll almost happens as an afterthought as you close jobs. The other really cool thing about the software is it is designed to run multiple branches. And through one screen, you can do sales for multiple branches. You can see sales leads coming up from Atlanta and Greenville and Dayton and Charleston and Portland, and they're all on one form. And you can be following up with leads and talking to people and closing jobs without having to bounce back and forth between various pieces of software, because you're managing it all within the same form. And that goes for scheduling and a lot of other functionality. You're not having to set up different instances for each branch. A lot of the reporting and dashboards show you performance across all branches, so you can see where you're hitting your goals and where you need to be spending more attention. So from a sales standpoint, what campaigns we work on, what branches we're working on, from where we apply our resources is driven by these dashboards that we're able to see what's going on across branches. Even if you aren't running multiple branches, we see this as an opportunity, because in part, maybe we aren't running multiple branches is because it's too hard and we don't have the tools to do it. This software, I think, creates the opportunity for more cleaning businesses to consider the opportunity of expanding out and opening multiple branches, because it's a tool that makes it a more feasible concept to pursue. So with that being said, before I get into all this boring stuff, Matt, you want to take off a little bit and maybe log in and show us a little more detail?
Yeah. Tell me when you can see my screen.
It's up.
Okay. So, hey guys, so I've said hello to a few of you. It's good to see a lot of you here. Matt Ricketts, St. Louis. I've worked with Tom on some different projects, and I got to really dig into this software when we opened up a branch in Portland. And I really didn't know what to make of it at first, because I was confused by it, and there's just a lot going on. But once I was using it and really day to day got a handle of what it could do, I got into discussions with Tom to A, use it, and B, be part of driving the process of helping make it more functional, just to get out of the silo of it just being a one user software, and to help maybe bring this on so that maybe some other people could use it. We've been having those discussions, and I think it's to the point where it's ready for more people to be on, and I think it would be an opportunity to really share that today and show what we've done. So on the top level, I want to share some really big wins that we got from this software from the beginning. So first off, I've increased my profit margins by about 4% because I'm able to look at jobs on a day-to-day basis. I'm going to just show you a quick report really quick that kind of shows that. Let me see if I have the right one open here. So let's see. Sorry about this. I think I might have closed that report. All right. So the software has a ton of reporting and really lets you get into the details. So Tom talked about a lot of things, but the main thing that I think you're going to want to know is this going to make my life easier? Is it going to make me money? Is it going to reduce my admin time? And so here's the quick answers. So right off the bat, I was able to save about 30 hours of admin time running this software. So first off, depends on your software, but my previous software, we would spend about 2 hours a day in billing and admin activities related to closing out jobs, things like that. All that's pretty much automatic in Maid Central. We can look at that a little bit. But the billing happens, and it's all batch billed. You can invoice people either once a month, which if you have some commercial accounts, that's really helpful, or you can bill all the jobs for a day, all in one click. All the credit cards are auto processed, so that saved us a ton of time. But real quick, I was able to look at my jobs from a top level and see what's profitable. So this is a quick report that I run pretty regularly. And I look at every single client, especially when we're looking at price increases or things like that, and trying to determine whether or not they are, priced appropriately. So these first ones are all commercial. Let me get into some house cleaning ones over here. So you can see a lot of details as far as when their rate went, what they're currently paying, things like that, what their frequency is. But really the bottom line is I want to know how much we're making per hour at that job, and if we're billed appropriately. And so I've really been focusing more and more on profitability. And then you see a job like this where we're only making $21.54 per hour at this job, and then you can really dive into what is going on here with this client. And so this would be a question that I would bring to my management team, like, why is this house here only bringing us this kind of revenue? So that's one thing. We were able to really dive into the profitability of things. Every single day, we're saving also a lot of time in getting our people out the door. So this is the dispatch screen right off the bat. So this is my Friday here. We have gone to a kind of mixed model where we're running some teams, and looks like we're going to be running 14 teams on Friday. And then some, I don't know why I'm not able to scroll down, maybe because of this screen share here. Sorry about this. I can't. Oh well. Anyway, so here is the bottom. The bottom several people are singles. So this team 13, 14, 15, Anna, and then 17 below that. Those are all singles. So we're kind of running a mixed model, and the software allows us to do both. But how this saves us time in the morning is we can run some reports on the routing and improve the routes. But it makes it really easy from a top level to run reports, pull keys. There's visualization of keys like this. If, for instance, do you guys have customers that don't want to work with certain team members or prefer certain team members? If we have somebody on a job where they're not supposed to go to that house, or we have somebody that is supposed to go to a house but is not assigned to it, we'll get a flag here as well. We'll also get preference flags if we have people that have preferences on their times and we're not able to meet those. So that saves us a lot of time every morning, and it helps improve delivery of service. So this is another area we've saved a ton of admin time. I used to have people come in every morning at about 7, and they weren't done dispatching till about 7:45. Now dispatching is almost automatic. It's just done. Keys are pulled. Clients are happy right off the bat. And then this is just a basic top-level view that we look at every single day. Let's see. So we showed this a little bit. A lot of reporting you can do on basically, doing planning. So this is a revenue production planning. It doesn't show discounts, so you have to kind of account for that. And there's another report that'll show you this, the revenue at discounts. But you can kind of top level see, are your days full, where there's some schedule availability. But these are some of the bigger top level reports. What I really liked was from the beginning was all my employees are here. This is where they clock in and clock out every single day. So my employees, they can clock in, clock out right from here. And then from some of that data from the employees, I can actually rank them. I have reports. So I guess I'm big on reports, and I'm not sure if that's what everyone wants to see, but from here I can look at an employee and see how are they performing, how are they doing for my company, and so this is a report that I look at pretty regularly. You can also monitor employee turnover right from this system as well and see where your employee turnover is happening. So for an example, for me, 40% of our employee turnover happens within the first 30 days. Knowing that, that's an area we can improve that first 30 days. So this is a report that I really like. So a lot of us don't really know how our employees are performing on a day-to-day basis. So we don't have a way to really rank them. So this system ranks them based on their, first off, this is their a score that's assigned to them based on their attendance. So we are able to bonus them based on their attendance. We bonus people that have over 96% attendance. We give them 2 extra hours of PTO. Right now, we're not having a great attendance month. So you can see, we've got a lot of people falling below a line that we, basically when they go red, we've got an issue that we need to address with them as far as attendance goes. And I've got a lot of people in red this month. And then in addition, all of their surveys are here as well. So you can see who's performing well and who's not. So for our company, 92% is the goal. And as a company, we're hitting that, but that's because you've got a lot of people performing highly, and then you've got some people that are, average in the 80s, 88s. So, we can see we have some work to do here on performance, on feedback. And so this is, again, a quick tool on this. The other thing that we really look at is efficiency and how they are performing as far as making us money, right? Like, how are they doing day in and day out on earning the company money? So the payroll reports from this, let me see if I can find it really quick. Thought I had one open, I'm sorry. Let's see. So company payroll summary. So what I like to look at too is are they efficient, right? So I'd love to again work with Tom to move that right onto that one report, and I think that's, we would just have to come up with a consensus of that. But the thing is, this is all based on my numbers, things that I put into the system that I think are important. So you can create some flexibility as to what's important to you, how you're judging things, what your targets are. While it was built a certain way, there's a lot of flexibility in the system on how you pay. So we are kind of a mixed commission model. So I'll just show you an example here. So Kayla Beal here. All of my employees are guaranteed $12 an hour. That's a guarantee. So if they fall below $12 an hour, we pay them supplemental pay, and that is a red flag. So for us, when someone is in red, right, that means that they're not hitting the efficiency that we want. And so they're getting supplemental pay to make up for not hitting the efficiency that they need to hit. And, you know, our goal is for everyone to be earning over $12 an hour with their commission. And if they're not, then we need to coach them up. So you can kind of really see some of this in real time with a commission structure that, for us, I mean, some people don't want to guarantee any kind of way. And you could set this at minimum wage. You could set it at any number. For us, it's $12 an hour because that is kind of competitive in St. Louis with wage inflation. But if your market doesn't dictate that kind of wage, or if it needs to be higher, you could set your minimum higher, set your percentages as far as your commission structures, however you want, and then track this on your payroll reporting. But this would have been impossible to do with our old software. And then the other things that I kind of use on a daily basis with the software would just be the sales process. And you know, there's a pretty robust reporting as far as like who's making sales for your company and who's not. And there's a lot of automation that's been built to have your salespeople follow up with the leads, and we're improving that every single day. So I'm going into beta right now with the automations. So we're going to be able to create email automations. Tom, we don't have the ability to do text automations yet, but we are going just with email, right? The first round here.
Correct.
Okay. So we're finishing up the email automations. So right now, like when somebody needs contacted, it creates an automation to tell you to do it. So we have a workflow where we are shooting this person a call or a text based on that it tells us they need follow-up, whether it's been a lead or a quote, if we've reached a certain number of contacts that we've created. But that's going to a automation system here quickly. And the data that you can get even deeper into the sales is you can dive into your lead reports, see how many times people have contacted, see what your close rates are. Really, you can, if you're using the software properly, you can see who your best salespeople are, who's really generating you money, and who's not. So, you know, on a weekly level, you can dive right in. This is my online booking is broken through my own fault today. We're doing an update on our site. We kind of broke some stuff. So we're not getting a lot of leads today, and our online booking is off. So I'm just going to look at it from the month level here. And I'd say we're having an off month. And I can show you that just right from this page. You can see this week we've lost 2 clients from our total, but we've lost $178 in weekly revenue. For the month, we're down -8. So you can look on the top level right from your sales. So while we've sold 30 recurring, we have lost 38. So we have some work to do on what's going on here. But I can look at that from a top level and see, okay, we've got some issues. And right here, built into the software, I can tell you why. I mean, our survey percent should be 92% or higher, and we're at 89.37 as a company for the month, 43% response rate. So our response rate's good. We're getting people to fill out the surveys. They're just not as happy as we'd like them to be. I can dig in and see all the people we've sold, all the people we've lost, all the one-time sales. I can look at how many leads, how many quotes, how many sales recurring, what our lead to quote rates are, lead to sales for recurring. And that's off a little bit this month. We'd like to be closer to 11 or 12%. We're only at 8. So we're off a little bit on our numbers this month, and I can look at that, and I need to dig into that a little bit. I haven't put in all my referral sources yet, but you could dig into all your referral sources, and I can look at my people and see who are making sales and who are not. So I can see, you know, Aries made 18 sales. I'm not sure why her numbers are kind of goofy like that at 191%. And Katie, something's off here, but it looks like it's right across the board at the bottom. So quote to sales, things like that. I can see who my top performing salespeople are right from the dashboard. And this probably has to do with the fact that our system is a little goofy on the website. And we've been putting a lot of leads in to test things, and probably that's kind of goofing up the numbers. But those are kind of some big level data points. Some other things that we're excited about are, the fact when we didn't have the system before, reminders, we would have to, do that, kind of manually kick that off every day. All that happens automatically in the background. You can do text, phone, email. But what I want to do now is probably just open it up to questions. I think it would be probably more beneficial than me just kind of flipping through things. And if anyone has any questions really quick, I think this would be a good time. So how do we want to moderate that? Melissa, do you want to look for people that have their hands raised and bring them on, or Tom?
I can just try to unmute everyone and see how that works. And if it doesn't work, we'll come up with a plan B.
All right, let's do that.
Everybody's unmuted.
Yeah, I have a question, Matt.
Yeah.
Chris here. This actually might be a question for Tom, but the way the commission is calculated and the percentages and all that, does it handle job ticket hour or only straight commission?
Job ticket hour or straight commission, Tom? Like that's so job ticket hours, you're setting the value of the job. Is that right?
I believe so. Honestly, I don't even know if that's the right title because I don't use it, but I think that's the nomenclature people use.
So when I think of job ticket hour, I'm like, it's a $100 job and I'm assigning $40 of pay to that job. That's typically what that would be, right?
The way it's designed is there's 3 different ways that we do payroll. It just goes straight hourly, where it pays an hourly wage for the time at 12 o'clock. We do a split hourly pay where you can have a 2-tiered hourly pay where you're making typically a lower rate when you're like driving between homes or in the office, and you're making a higher rate when you're punched into a job. Or we do what we call commission, which is a percentage of the revenue generated from that job. Those are the 3 types of pay that the software currently is designed to handle.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
So, and as far as that goes, there's a little, I mean, like when people ask like, okay, can it do that? I would also point out like, it's almost the same difference as just setting it to 40% or setting it to like 16, like whatever the percentage is. I think that the job ticket hour is just how you express something to your people. So you still can get to the same thing, right? Yeah, it's just how you express it to your people, I think, is what you're looking at. Like, what's the value of this job to them, so they know
not exactly. Not for what we do, and maybe I'm not using the right word, and we probably do something that maybe other people don't do. But what we do is we're basically paying them job hours. Whether we increase that client's rate or not is irrelevant. We pay them at a job hourly rate.
Oh,
this job should take 4 hours. You're getting paid this amount regardless of what we do for the client. If we don't increase the client's rate for 10 years, we're not making much money on that job.
Right.
I got it.
Your system doesn't handle that currently. I don't think any system does, but.
Right. That it currently is not designed to do that.
Okay.
Yeah. I think though, no, you can't see that. You can see the job hours that they were clocked in. So if you see my screen now, this is their job hours. I mean, you could probably still just calculate those ticket hours. That seems like a fairly straightforward way just to add those up and then have that. And then you could use this system to protect their minimum wage, whatever, like, a lot of people that do that guarantee people a certain wage. So you could just have like an hourly calculation here, and you might have to calculate that separately. Or adapt and change and, use a software that can do a lot of power. I mean, this payroll calculation saves us hours. Commission used to be a nightmare for us. And so for us to be able to just, like, I just clicked that button and pulled this report up, and it took seconds. And literally know what my people made and what they did time-wise.
In this business, especially if you're doing commission, there's two things that you need to be able to check, and you need to be able to demonstrate to the Department of Labor that you're checking it. One of them is making sure that you're meeting minimum wage requirements, and the second is making sure that you're checking for overtime, and if there is overtime, that you're paying appropriately. And this will calculate supplemental pay to make minimum wage. It'll also calculate the additional pay to cover the overtime for anything over 40 hours of one work week.
Yeah.
Got it.
But anyway, so yeah, the answer probably is not at this time. And I'm not sure. Yeah, like I said, I don't know if anybody does that, but there's a lot of ways you could still come up with a pay structure that would reward people for making your company more, more money. And you can show them how they can do that. Cause like, you can look at people in my company and be like, the people that are spending time cleaning. So like this example here. So Nadia Felder, Brianna George, 23 hours cleaning, 6 hours of non-productive time. We call it office time for 29.35 clock hours, but she averaged out $16.44 for the pay for the hours that she did work because she was efficient, right? So, I think that there is something to be said when you can legitimately show people that they can make $18 an hour, $17 an hour, with a commission structure and still be more profitable than you were before. And I wouldn't have had the data to do that before without this. And there may be other ways to do it, with other software, but again, not as quickly. This just, I adapted a little bit with this. And so that's one thing, I guess the conversation is around, I guess one of the things that I found was we did make some changes to the way we operate to fit within the software. But I think those were good decisions in general because they made us more efficient because we were trying to shoehorn, 10 different ways of doing things. And we had all these different softwares to do it. So,
right.
That it's just a matter of adapting. What else we got? Anybody have some questions?
Well, if no one else wants to jump in, I've got lots.
Okay.
For the scheduling, can you show me the scheduling, how it's done? I guess you showed that one report or dashboard, I guess it would be called. Can you go back to that?
Yeah, so this is just the job schedule. It's just a visual dashboard of like what's going on any given day, basically, right? So you've got some different keys and things like that for it. This is not typically how you would schedule.
Okay.
And I'm not the smoothest at scheduling because again, we all do different things in our businesses. But like, let's say that if we were wanting to schedule somebody, the system does it on a couple different ways. When you're going through the quotes, you can search for jobs that are close to the job that you are trying to schedule, and set different rings, and it'll only show you those houses on those rings if you have revenue available. So like, let me show you something that what it does is, so you set in your quote settings like how much revenue you want to do per day. And so when you're doing a sale, it has to meet two parameters when you're getting to the sale. And the sales process is I'll open up in a second, but I'll show you the availability first. So you set your availability based on different days. And I think this is a cool thing. So you can set blackout days based on, these are my goal sales, Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays. And that doesn't account for any commercial sales. So this number here is only for, and none of the commercial numbers are on this for whatever reason. So that might be, but I guess that's because you don't really sell commercial in the same way as you sell your residential. So for my commercial, my goals per day are 8,000, 7,400, 8,700. But I can black out days based on, I know I have a lot of people on vacation, different things. I can override it, make it higher, things like that. So it has to, first off, there has to be enough revenue to sell. for it to allow it to sell. So that's the first hurdle that it has to hit. And then the second hurdle is when you're going through a sale, is there enough availability, or is it close enough that you want to put it next to this other house? So and you can massage things and move it around once you have it on there. But you can search old quotes really quick. Let me see if I can find one for myself. So I don't have one for me. They must have closed it out. I don't want to mess with a live quote that my people are working on, but let me see if I can find one for like one of my managers or something like that. No. All right, let's just go back. We'll look at one of the live quotes. We just can't put it. I can't move it to the schedule, obviously. Let's see, Gregory Donovan. So it kind of tells you where you are on the stage, like needs contacted. If we were gonna mark him contacted today as a contact, so he's just a lead at this point. He has not done anything else. I can see all the emails he's ever gotten, things like that, over here, even as a lead.
Does that have to go through Maid Central to see the email there?
Yeah, you could put a note on if you sent it through your other system, but those are the automated ones that he's gotten through getting a quote online or whatnot. So those are the automated ones that he has gotten. If I mark him contacted, it'll ask me to put a note on it. So if you contacted him a different way, you could paste the body in there and it would put it over there. It'll remind you when do you want to contact him again if you want to. Once you quote him, it'll mark him to quoted, and then there'll be a follow-up process, and then there'll be a booked process, and then I'm not sure what after follow-up is. I'd have to ask my staff. I'm not sure, but basically the statuses go through as you kind of move them through the process, and all the records are kind of stored with it. Pretty smooth process for sales as far as I'm concerned, and really allows you to have some pretty good data on them as you go through, having their quote data, knowing what you've quoted them. You can customize what they get in their quotes, things like that. You can customize your pricing to the minute of how long you really want them to be in your home. The quoting is incredible because it's based on work loading, and if you know your numbers, you can create incredibly detailed quotes based on how many bedrooms. Tom goes a little deeper with the quoting than I do. We have it set up to be like the rooms that we consider like these rooms are always in a quote, right? Like kitchen.
Quoting. Are you talking about online or on the phone or both?
Both, because it's pretty much, it's very similar. But we do simplified pricing, whether it's online or over the phone. Tom gets in and gets every single room, things like that, because he does some rotational cleaning, things like that we do. But it's very flexible in how you execute it. You can do things like us and keep it simple, but basically we figure a master bedroom is 15 minutes. So that's all the pricing is based on this stuff, and then you can set what are the rooms that are always included, what rooms are extras. So these rooms that are, I'd have to go through, there's another level of settings to show you, but like a laundry room takes 9 minutes, stairs 6 minutes, hallways, 6 minutes, things like that. And basically you can just dial it in to the minute. And then this, let's see, availability, that's where the availability was. But as far as continue, what was the actual, like, what did you want to see in the quoting? I'm sorry, I got sidetracked.
It was about the scheduling, actually. How do you go about scheduling client? You were talking about the revenue, if it's allowed in a day, and then also if it's proximity to another client.
So that might be better on a demo because I'm working with live data here, and I can't click on it. I can't do it without pissing off my people and messing up a quote because I couldn't.
We're kind of getting to the point where we're going to be pressing up against an hour here.
Yeah.
But, we can do other calls, or we'd be glad to do, some one-on-one, stuff as well.
But generally, so let me just kind of, I can't visualize it because I can't click on that stuff because I didn't have a demo lead made. But the general gist is when you get to the point where you are getting ready to schedule them, when you're picking a time to schedule it, you can set how far away from another job you want it to be, and it'll give you a list of jobs that are close by, and you can just one click put it on that day, and then you can go to that day and look at it and massage. You have to massage things a little bit.
One thing we could show real quick, if you go back to the job scheduler. And I mean, there's a lot of different connotations and definitions of scheduling. And a lot of times you're like in dispatch mode, you're making adjustments throughout the day. You can take those jobs and just drag and drop is one thing that you can do right from within this tool.
Yeah. So you can just keep it really simple and just be like, I just want to put them on this day, and that's going to be good enough. So like if you put it on, you just want to drop it anywhere, you have this little not scheduled line up here. And if you get a bunch of online bookings, things like that, this is kind of where online bookings go because it's just basing it on revenue and then their preference morning or afternoon. So they'll end up on this line. It'll build more not scheduled lines if not. So with the online tool, it's only basing it on revenue, and then you can drag and drop and move, like you would normally do with.
If you would, Matt, take a double click on a job. Just pick one and double click.
Okay.
Okay, you can make adjustments to the job here. You can change the schedule from within here. You can do a redo. You can do a lot of adjustments to the schedule here.
So as something that happens, like let's say you have a snow day, right? And you have you just need to move somebody, right? So this is a great place this is where we would go and modify rates, contact ticket. Oh, they're in this job. I can't do that here. So I got to pick one that nobody's at, that we're not.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was a bit confused.
What is this? February 27th. I must have some teams that are just flying. Let me go to a day where we're not on because I can't, like once they're in a job, you really can't do as much with it. So like if I were to make a scheduling change to this job, right, I could bump it, and then not only will it bump it, it'll say, do you want to send this customer a text message or message, and it'll message them why they're being bumped. Like let's say it's a snow day, things like that. You can do that. You can also, one of the cool things is, let's say you're doing a snow day and you just need to get the information out to all the people and make a mass scheduling change. You can do that from this campaign setting. You can search all the jobs for that day, send out a broadcast email to all those people, and make massive scheduling changes all from campaign. So if you have like a reason to do like a really big scheduling change all at once, you can do that for all the jobs in the day via the campaigns feature. That's a little deeper feature than what we probably want to get into today. But the main thing is scheduling is mostly based on revenue as a first preference for online booking, and then as a secondary preference when you're scheduling yourself, you can do it based on proximity to other jobs that are similar, and then you can kind of massage it. Oh, one thing to look at, do you notice the color coding on the screen, Chris?
Yeah.
Right. So these are zones, these colors, like this green zone here. So like let's say I just sold this chroma and I wanted to keep it, within this green zone. I might move this Kaplan home to where this yellow zone is. All my zones are basically 2-mile radiuses of service. They're basically 2 zip codes. And so I'm basically making decisions on my zones and trying to keep my schedule efficient. So we do a lot of it with this color coding too. We just visually look like, is this sequence in order? Why is this blue here? And so sometimes you're just making visual scheduling changes as you're looking at things, like why is this color code out of order? Is that something your current scheduling system has? Does it have like a visual hierarchy for scheduling?
Not color coded, to my knowledge. We use Service Autopilot.
Okay.
Yeah, we try to keep. So we do solos. I think you know that we try to keep all recurring jobs to solo cleanings only, and we try to keep each technician in the same area in the same day when they're doing a full day of solos. So this would be something that would be helpful.
Yeah.
It's a month view.
What's that?
Are there any month views by any chance for like looking at just one cleaning technician schedule for the whole month?
I don't think so.
Not from a job standpoint, no. There's month views. It shows attendance and some other metrics, but we don't.
And their availability. We don't. So I think we've kind of made a decision. We don't like want the text to see that information, but you're saying is like for us to look at it.
Yeah. So when we try to drop in a new client, a new biweekly client, it's really helpful to look at a month view because there are some monthly clients that you won't see on that given week that you're looking at. So if you're looking at a week, it's just, everyone I've ever talked to that uses any software always uses something outside of the software to manage their reoccurring clients, a whiteboard, Google Calendar, something like that.
Hey, Matt,
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and kind of wrap up here with what we've kind of got in the can. And, I'd be happy to hang around, Matt, if you could, and we could chat after 4. But if anybody's got a hard stop, I don't want to, I don't want to impose on anybody that has other things to do.
So yeah, we'll stay on. Let's finish the slides real quick, and then I'll stay on and try and answer any more detailed questions. But if anybody wants to we'll finish up the presentation, then we'll hang on a little bit.
So the question is, what does it cost to use the platform? And
you want to take over the share so you can see the slides again?
Yeah, am I?
Yeah, you got it. I'm sorry.
You guys got it? Okay, cool. Basically, we got a pricing structure that's based upon the number of branches you're running and the number of jobs you do on a monthly basis. So we're not selling functionality a la carte. What you get for this is every piece of functionality we have and the functionality that we develop, as we move forward. It's $250 a branch, and on a per job basis, you pay $2 a job for your first 100 jobs. It's $1 a job for the next 400 jobs, and everything over 500 jobs at 75 cents. We've got a little calculator here that kind of shows what that looks like. Just a simple spreadsheet. So, like if you're doing 100 jobs, it's the basic, $250 for one branch, 100 jobs, and $2 for those 100 jobs, $450 in total. If you take it up to, say 600 jobs, then, it's $200 for the first 100 jobs. It's, $1 for the next 400 jobs, or $400. And the last 100 jobs is at 75 cents plus the $250 per branch. It's that. If you added a second branch, it would, go up accordingly. But the jobs are aggregated for all of the branches. So if you're running 2-3 branches, you add the jobs up for all of those branches to plug into to this, job number here. So you look at that, and I've talked to some folks, and it's more expensive than a lot of the other options out there, and I certainly get that, but there's more functionality. There's more that you're getting from this. So the way that we look at this is, if you really want to look at the true cost, you need to look at the context of what savings you're going to realize and what additional revenue you're going to realize. And if these numbers work for you, then it could be a good fit. If not, then maybe it isn't. But this replaces your current field service software, the stuff that you currently use to do your scheduling. It replaces any time clock software like T-Sheets and so forth. It replaces your CRM software. It's got its own quality management functionality that can replace software. It's got its own quoting, online booking, which, there's people who sell software that just do that. Matt was speaking to the backroom savings, the administrative labor savings, and that's material. If you're running an operation where you're doing, a fair amount of jobs each day. There's real savings to be realized there. We're combining the payroll, invoice, and credit card processing. We're combining the lead capture, quoting, sales, and client setup process. We're combining time clock, time and attendance, quality scores, and the employee portal. All of those are examples of where we're creating admin savings and more efficiency. Single screen to manage multiple branches. You got dashboards that help you from a decision support perspective. The work measurement and the costing that allows you to dial your rates in and make sure that you're charging what you need to be charging for all of your customers. And really, that adds up to getting a better return on your people, on your human capital. What it really comes down to is you need to maximize the revenue you're getting out of all of your people. Just the opportunity to open multiple branches through this software is another revenue generating opportunity. So if you take all of that potential savings and additional revenue and subtract from that your cost for Maid Central, I would argue if there's a positive number there, then it's actually saving you rather than costing you. If it's not a positive number, then maybe it doesn't make sense. I
want to give some specifics, Tom. So for me, when I came over, I was using so just rough number, I'm between $1,100 and $1,200 a month with the software. So before I was spending about $650 with my previous software for my field service software. That was just one piece. An additional $200 for my time and attendance piece. So that was one thing. Survey software, that was another piece. The other thing that I'm getting ready to replace is my CRM at $299 a month. So that's not a done deal. We're still working out the kinks on that, but that's going to be another $300 a month. Texting software, we didn't even really dig into the fact that we're building this as a communication portal for all of your text communications with your clients, and I know a lot of other softwares are adding that. We felt that was something that needs to happen this year, and it already does one-way texting. We're bringing the two-way texting into the software, so that's another $125. But the real savings to me was, so here's the big ones that I don't think that I even really got into was, I'm running my company with 32 techs. I'm doing $160,000 to $180,000 a month with 8 less techs than I used to have, because I can schedule more efficiently, and my techs are more invested in a system that allows them to make more money. I have 4 less cars on the road because I'm able to build my schedules more efficiently, and I'm able to run some singles where it makes sense, like Chris is doing and some other people are doing. So the savings for me are well above the software, and I already talked about admin savings of 30 hours for just the payroll, not including dispatch. So it was a no-brainer for me at my size. If you're a smaller company, some of this stuff isn't going to add up as quickly, but it's going to be. Those are just some points that I wanted to make about the cost, because I had the same. I fought Tom on the cost for a long time too, and then I just finally went with it, and I realized a ton of those savings. I mean, those are conversations we had. Me and Tom went back and forth on the cost structure for quite a while. And
to be clear, what we're doing is there's a lot more development we need to do, and we need more people to partner with us and be part of this project to give us the resources to do it. There's, it would be another call if we talked about the big plan moving forward, but we're just getting started here. We believe that there's a big competitive advantage, not just for us, but for the people that work for us and the people that we provide service to, if we can use technology to run a better operation. And that's really what this project's about. So, with that being said, I think that we're pretty much to the end of our formal, presentation. I would like for Melissa to have an opportunity to say hey and talk about next steps.
Thanks. So obviously we just scratched the surface of what this tool can do and how powerful it is. If you are interested in knowing more about it, I am a resource for you. I I can kind of take a deeper look into how you're currently running and kind of make some parallels with how the software can help you. We can also do some demos on some specific things that you're interested in. We also have an onboarding process, so we're not just kind of selling it and forgetting it. There is a process to help you get up and running, get those settings to where they need to be, get your goals to where they need to be. We'll ensure like all of that is what needs to be before you actually transfer over, go live. There's a lot of hand-holding, I guess, in the beginning. Probably 30 to 60 days is a typical, onboarding process. But that's because there's a lot to go over. And then the other thing is, if you're listening to this and you're like, well, maybe I'm not ready for this right now, but I know of somebody who would definitely, find value in this, please let me know. I'd love to reach out to them and talk to them as well. But you guys are a pretty tight-knit group, and I appreciate the chance to talk to you guys today and introduce myself.
Oh. Okay, so well, thank you, Melissa, and thank everybody for being here. That being said, we can hang out for a bit if anybody has any other questions or just wants to chat a little bit.
I have a